Hello everyone, and welcome once again. My name is Logan, and this is Decode Your Reality, and today I'm going to be doing a very special presentation for all of my subscribers, supporters, fellow decoders, all of you beautiful people, all of you brilliant minds that are doing this great work, and follow the methodology that I've been doing now for years. And keep all your decodes coming because you inspire me. You inspire me to do the work that I do. I feed off of you, you feed off of me. This is a win-win. We need to kind of come together. And the collection of all my research is a part of what you're throwing out there. But what I wanted to do today is to, I'm going off. I put this out today, early in the morning. It's getting some great responses, getting a lot of activity. But I wanted to show each and every one of you that, in the studio where I do all my stuff, I'm being used. And I don't know how else to show you and put it or describe it. Some of you don't want to accept that. You think you have absolute free will. You think you're making all the decisions, calling all the shots, and I'm not here to take that away from you. I want to be clear on that. I stand in a observational point of neutrality. I believe everybody walking this planet is right because I don't walk in your shoes. I don't look through your eyes. So in your world, you're right. I'm just living in your world. But I will show you with clear and convincing evidence, using numbers and math and multiple layers, as I always do, that it's undeniable that we're being used. And there's no way that we could be doing this on our own. It's just not possible. So I'm going to make this really short. It's not going to be that long, but I'm going to show you with just the file I created. I started working on this decode. As you know, if you watched you got to watch the Matrix Decoded before you watch this because this is not going to make any sense. But anyway, I started decoding the 1978 video game Space Invaders. And then it led me into the Matrix, which led me into They Live and the Komodo Dragon, everything that's in that video you saw. And it makes a lot of sense. But of course, we're being used, and this is, I use a Mac, and when you click on the file where I had all my graphics in and my whatever, and you press Get Info, right click and Get Info on a Mac, it'll look like this. If you're not a Mac user, well, you're not gonna, this is not what you're gonna see, but this is what a Mac shows, and it shows how big the file is, how many bytes it is, where it's located, the day it was created, the day it was modified, the timestamp of when you started it and when you finished it. And I'm going to be showing you these dates and times and all these numbers, and to show you with absolute certainty that I'm being used. To what extent, I don't know. Human beings are being used. You're being used. And that may be my opinion, but like the great Werner Erhard said, I'm not trying to profess that I'm saying that this is the truth, but I'm also not a guy in a diner. I'm not just some schmuck that just kind of puts numbers together with words and calls it a day. My research. So let's get started on this, folks. I don't have many slides, maybe 10, 12. I want you to notice the actual file size of the Matrix Decoded. The total file size, everything I had in there, is 7.43 gigabytes. So naturally, I'm going to decode that using alchemy, the elements of the periodic table. 7.43 would be 743 nitrogen technetium. You could also say it's a 77, which if you watch the Matrix Decoded, that's linked to iridium, which is linked to the dragon. It's linked to the King Diamonds card, the 39, the 88. So it goes in that direction. But what was really interesting is that when you add up the atomic weights and do the alchemy of nitrogen and technetium, you're going to get the number 111 1.91. Which is why I have this bolt of lightning here, because as you know, you probably know, 1.21 gigawatts is 111. And then the 91 is tied to the word battery. So you literally have the combination of a bolt of lightning with battery, and battery needs the bolt of lightning and vice versa to stay charged. And the total file size that I created with this decode is 7.43 as nitrogen and technetium. How about that? I finished this like when I was in the studio doing this, and I had to, it's called rendering, to do the video, putting all the slides together as I'm doing right now. I have to render this, and the computer has to process it. And when it finishes, it's going to give a timestamp. This is when the computer finished rendering this entire presentation. Not this one, but the Matrix Decoded. 5:08 a.m. I started at 3:30 a.m. That's how big of a file it was. And I ended at 5:08 a.m. Folks, 5:08 is 58. That's cerium. And your jaw should be on the floor. Because this was the puppet master. It is the puppet master. And it was all over the Matrix Decoded. This is a big deal. This is what runs our Matrix. This is what's saying that it's running, which is tied to Yaldabaoth. When you get into the timestamp of when I started this and when I finished it, when I pressed render to create the video, the Matrix Decoded, and when it finished, I was already in bed sleeping by the time it finished. That's why I didn't upload it till this morning when I woke up. But it finished at 5:08 a.m. The timestamp. Look at the timestamp, folks. 1 hour and 38 minutes in between. That's the element lanthanum. It means to lie hidden. It's Donald Trump's alchemology. And it's one short of the 58. 58, 57. They encroach upon one another. You know, the subtleties, it's 98 minutes long. That's a mirror of the 89 Yaldabaoth. And what's special about the 98, which is what's highlighted right here, is that the actual starting point of my decode for the Matrix Decoder was called Space Invaders. Some of you saw the post I put out. I said Space Invaders coming soon. That's what the title was going to be. And here it was. Here's the actual alchemology of Space Invaders. Notice it's tetragrammaton. There's the 47. There's silver, tied to titanium, Saturn's moon. The Titans, are they the invaders? Are they going to be the Space Invaders? The United States has got the Space Force set up. Look at what the outcome is of the alchemology, folks. 98. And that was the timestamp of my video that I created based off of this title that I was going to do. And then ended up the Matrix Decoded. But there it is. And then, of course, Yaldabaoth. 109 is the 29th prime number. So it's right there. See, so that's what I'm saying. We're not doing anything. I'm just being used to show you this information. By what? I don't know. If you take the zeros out, look at when I started. 33, 3:30 in the morning, 33. Is when I press render to go the video and create it. That's when I finished doing all my presentations. 3:30, drop the 0, it's 33. 5:08, drop the 0, it's 58. 33 plus 58, 91. That's a battery, folks. And I just showed the battery in the very beginning right here. Based off of the file size. It's in the alchemy of the file size, tied to lightning, electricity. And it's in the timestamp of the start and finish time of the Matrix Decoded. So then I figured I'd show you the elements. I mean, 330 is 33. That's arsenic, right? Crucifixion. 508, 58. Cerium. Take those over to the trusty calculator. You add those up. You're going to get the number 214.827. And that sits, the 214, it sits at the 102nd decimal digit. Starts there. 102, 103, 104, but it starts at the 102. And why I'm showing that is because when you do the alchemology of the Deus Ex Machina in the movie The Matrix, where the source of all things begin, that alchemology is 102, which is rhodium, which is 29, which is Yaldabaoth, and 88, Saturn. It's all connected. And here I have a timestamp with that, using alchemy. And again, how do you wrap your mind around this any other way? How do you describe what you're seeing? So then when you take the 214 and the 827 from the outcome of cerium and arsenic based off the timestamp when I created and finished this presentation, the Matrix Decoded, and you add them up, both the feminine and masculine side, 214 plus 827 is 1041, and cerium, because it has multiple weights, one of them is 141. You just drop that zero, and there's the 141. It leads right back to the Puppet Master. The Puppet Master. This one really, this was probably the nail in the coffin right here. And I know, folks, Donald Trump just announced on October 2nd that he's tested positive, him and the First Lady tested positive for the Cove. Look at the day he announced it and what the significance of that is. Folks, I didn't plan on delivering this information to you, the Matrix Decoded, on October 2nd. I don't plan any of this stuff. I don't plan any of it, not consciously. Even October 2nd is 102, which is right here, which is right here, which is on my timestamp. I don't plan this stuff. Yet here we are, showing it. So October 2nd is when I created and finished this presentation that I gave to you guys this morning, the Matrix Decoded. October 2nd is the 276th day of the year, because we're in a leap year. Folks, look at what it's tied to. Metnerium, the 109th element. What is the 19 or the 91? It's a freaking battery. It's a battery. And 109 is the 29th prime number? Yaldabaoth, folks. The Gnostic demiurge. Yaldabaoth. Tied to this Matrix Decoded that I did with an hour and 13 minutes of time, showing you these things that I've discovered. We're being used, folks. Here is the conclusion of my presentation. I think I have, 3 more slides left. This one right here was the timestamp of the Matrix Decoded in all its totality. If you go to YouTube and start at the beginning, you're going to see that the Matrix Decoded is 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 36 seconds. So of course I'm going to bring alchemy into this. Hydrogen, aluminum, and krypton. 1, 13, and 36. Go over to the trusty calculator, add that up, and look at the freaking results we get. There is 1.21 gigawatts again, and there is battery again. Right there, folks. And again, I'm not, you think I'm editing my videos and planning them and I have to get them exactly like that because I sit down beforehand and make sure it has to be exactly coming out to this equation so I get these outcomes? You gotta be out of your freaking mind like Fruit Loops to think that I'm doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. It's not possible. There's no way, folks. Another 1.21 gigawatts of electricity and the battery. Another one. Which is tied to the file size of the Matrix Decoded. I showed this in the first slide. 743 technique. Look at nitrogen technetium. The alchemy of that is almost the same as the alchemy of my timestamp of the total amount of the video time. As the same as the file size. How's that possible? Folks, there's no other way to explain it other than we are being used. When you sit down and you play Super Mario Brothers, who's controlling Mario? You are. Someone created the game, the software, the developer. That would be the god of the game, the developer. You're just the player, but you're running Mario. Who's running you? You think you're controlling your life? Good luck trying to prove that. See, I go by my evidence. I don't go by just someone's opinion. Because this smashes people's opinions like thinking they have control of their lives. It's a tough pill to swallow, don't get me wrong. But you know what? I'm not going to stop living my life, enjoying my life, having fun. I love doing this stuff. I'm going to keep doing it. I love doing readings for people. I'm going to keep doing it. Because the more power you have, the more powerful you become. And whatever this game is whatever this game is. But I know we live in a battery, and I know it's tied around that 111. I know it is. I have enough evidence to support what I'm saying. So folks, what is it that you saw during this short presentation, one of my shorter ones? And, how do you feel about all this stuff? And, some people, some of you are like, I'm bummed out, I'm depressed. Why? What are you're dead now? You can't live your life? Even if you're being used, it doesn't feel like it. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just showing you stuff for you to think about and contemplate. That's it. And even if I am right, there's no way to absolutely prove it. So keep on living your life. Keep on decoding who you are. It's one of the greatest tools you can do. So many factors involved in all this. And just be happy. If something doesn't make you happy, stop doing it. Some of you do things and you're not happy about it and you keep doing them. Why? Like the old saying, instead of going to work, instead of committing suicide, people go to work. Are you one of those people? Being used or not, folks, got to be happy every day. Make the most of it. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. So anyway, that's all I got for today. This was all for all of you, all your support. I love it all. Keep them coming. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thank you so very much for watching.